To accept a result without being yourself equals pain. To accept a relationship without intimacy equals pain. To accept status, to accept winning without ever challenging you, that equals pain. If you live a life of that, you don't live just a life of pain, you live a life of shame of yourself at the deepest level. Welcome, gentlemen. This is the TSL Podcast, and a beautiful thing just happened on our call. We're on a Men's Development Excellence call, also a TSL call, and it is Wednesday. What is it? What is the date today? Anyway, I gotta look or something. But we're in 2018. It's early January, and this awesome thing happens when we take an idea, and men, we don't do this enough, and this is what I want to really share with you guys. Is we take an idea and a concept, and we were talking about being ourselves, and we were talking about the nice guy syndrome and all this sort of stuff, and how when we bring it to a group of men that are focusing on themselves, we're not stuck in pity, we're not stuck in anger, we're not stuck in blame, of how that can morph into this awesome, awesome thing. And man, it's beautiful. It's fucking awesome. And this is what we as men and men in groups should be doing. So we hear this shit all the time. Be yourself. Just be yourself. We hear that as the dating advice that we get all the time. And what we're going to do in this podcast and hopefully in this dialogue that we continue with you guys, because there's 11 dudes on here. There's been 17 throughout the night that have been rotating in and out. There's guys from all over the world, is that we are going to learn that it is about being yourself. It's just we're doing it wrong. And here's the fundamental thing that comes to it. Is I'm not going to give you the easy piece of advice of just be yourself and leave it there, because that's wrong. That's how we screw ourselves. We go up to the woman, we go up to the job interview, we go up to something that has pressure, and we tell them the truth about us the only way we know how to, because we don't have any life experience, because we haven't been shaped by the world, because we haven't put things on the line yet enough and felt the burn and the pain and the hurt from that, and we get rejected. And we try it again, and we get rejected, and we ask for advice. We ask our friends, and they say, just be yourself, be true to be you. We ask the most beautiful girl that we know that's our friend and who's always dating people, and she says, all I want is a guy to be himself. And we try and do it more, but it's empty to us because we haven't filtered it through men who have experienced the other side. Now, here's the problem. Is right now in the men's development, men's advice world, there's a marketplace, and there always has been, and it's a hard thing to disconnect. See, this is another thing we were talking about earlier, is that we can find genius everywhere in the world. We can see it. We just need to have the right glasses that can see it. See, there's beauty all around us. If we have a bad day, there's beauty, and I guarantee it. We just need to be the person that has the wisdom, the experience, the richness within ourselves to be able to find it. So there's not enough people teaching that. There's not enough people showing that. There's too many people pointing out the shit or the blindness or the crap in the world. And we listen to that and we gang up and it sounds good and all that sort of stuff. And we get it, man. I talk a lot of shit too. Sometimes when I'm in pain, I like hearing other people that are in pain, and we can sit there and yell about the pain that we're in. But the real beauty and the real solution is going to come from this other beautiful thing. Okay? And see, this is what we got to realize. Just because we tried to be who we are, we tried to be our hearts, we tried to be our ideas. We took our bodies, our minds in a relationship. We told a girl we liked her. We were ourselves sexually. Maybe we don't like ourselves. Maybe we underperform. Maybe we premature ejaculate. Maybe we can't get an erection. Maybe we cause bad relationships. When we're ourselves, we're failing. And that's always your first step as a man, is when you're yourself and you put yourself on the line, you're going to fail. And you might fail a lot. If you get it easy, in some ways you're cursed. Like, for instance, if it's easy for me to do a skill naturally, I don't have to work at it. And the real beauty of the things that you value in your life are going to come from the things that you worked over. Man, this triggers another conversation that I had about entrepreneurship earlier in the day. And the guy was actually saying, he said, man, to be one of the best coaches in the world, wasn't all the technology, wasn't the biomechanics degree that I got, wasn't all the scientific studies, which is what he's known for. And he's proved things. It's crazy. He's proved things in physics with the body that nobody else did before him. He says it was showing up, being a coach in an area where I had to get results every day with random people. And this guy just wanted to perform, and I need to be there for him and do a good job. And that's how I built that's it. That was the most important thing in his life. See, we as men were afraid to be put in the cooker. Now, long story short, how do we get to the value of self? We go out there, we be ourselves, we talk to women, we get married, we join a relationship. It doesn't work out for us. We fuck ourselves. We're not ourselves. We fail at it. Right? And we get pissed off because we're supposed to, right? And that's part of the phase. We get pissed. Man, you're supposed to get pissed. That's cool. You're supposed to talk shit. You're supposed to join an online forum and, look at all the different things that you do and what they did and how you're not fucked up and they are and those types of things. That's great. But what at some point we need to do is, instead of learning a way to get results without being us, because that's what so many guys do, especially with women. Think about this, and everything that men like: money, sex, relationships, fitness, competition. So many men want the result of the win. Think about this when you've done it with your career. Oh man, if I just get the result, that's good. Let me fake it, to get that result. And sometimes we need to do that because we don't know how to do it. But we think that that's more important than us being ourselves and getting the win, which is tough. It's a part of your masculinity. It's a part of your development that you've got to learn. And see, here's the thing, right? And we see this with dating, because nothing will challenge you more than a woman. Nothing will challenge you more than sex. Nothing will show a window to yourself more than the flow of seduction. If you lie in that, it's going to expose it at the deepest level. So the thing is that we go, okay, well, how can I get the results of sex, seduction, with whatever works, what to say, what to do, what to get, to speak in these different ways and blah, 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 blah. And we start living in that way and we start getting these experiences. We start getting women, most likely we're actually not going to be successful. And we're going to try our best and we're still going to get rejected. We go, man, I had all the secrets of the pro, pickup artist or seducer, and I'm still failing. I must be that fucked up. And we get in these traps. But let's say we're one of the lucky guys that was like myself, that got the success where I didn't need to work at it in the same way. And I got the women. I got whatever I wanted. I got all those things, but I still wasn't happy. So then the problem had to be deeper. It had to be me. It had to be that I was fundamentally flawed and so on and all these different things. But when you work on yourself and when you look at yourself and you learn to be yourself, at first, you might need to walk through fire. At first, it might be challenging. At first, because you've been running from that rejection of the real you, you don't want to feel it, and it's terrifying. But there's such a beauty. There's a guy on the call, he was talking about, going through a death in the family. There was a guy on the call talking about how, at some point, you're going to be widowed. If you're in a great relationship, in some way, they're all going to end in these certain ways. At some point, people are going to let you down because they're supposed to, because we need to have those challenges in our life to find the deeper meaning within ourselves to carry us. Now, that all being said, going off on a little bit of a tangent, which is what I do, is that when you can learn to be you, mixed with the technique or the expression or the right things that work, that's when we find our value. And there's a real problem, and I don't want to make it like this huge social problem. Oh my God, there's an epidemic of men and all this fucking bullshit. But there's a problem where every man is going to go through, and it's just taking longer for men to get there now. Where it was used to just be confined to our early 20s, middle 20s, of men in my generation, Generation X, where we had that doubt, where we didn't know how to handle things, where we were looking for whatever worked. And we realized eventually that made us unhappy. And then we started to get to a point where it's like, no, man, no, this is the challenge. This is where I do need to step it up. And that's lasting longer. We see now men in their 40s. We see men, that are my age, that are older, that haven't challenged themselves in those ways because they haven't learned the right ways to be themselves. And let me just tell you, that if you want to talk to women, The only way that you're going to have a successful relationship is if you can be you at the deepest social level. The only way that you're going to achieve results with your body is if you can be you. You can look good, you can fit the social roles, you can get all of that. But if you don't feel yourself, if you're not an expression of you, you're always going to doubt the deepest thing within you, the thing that is going to carry you when everything in the world lets you down, when all of the things that you believed in stopped working, because that's going to happen because we're supposed to make mistakes. Our beliefs aren't supposed to be absolute in other ways. We're pliable. We change our minds. We're supposed to be wrong. We're not bigger than the universe. We're not bigger. We're not the thing making the rules. But those things are going to stop working, and you're going to need to count on yourself. See, the answer has to be that you have to just be yourself. It's not that you have to be yourself in the way you thought when you were 20 or 14 or whatever when you made those mistakes. It's that you have to be experienced enough to know that to accept a result without being yourself equals pain. To accept a relationship without intimacy equals pain. To accept status, to accept winning without ever challenging you, that equals pain. And if you live a life of that, you don't live just a life of pain, you live a life of shame of yourself at the deepest level. See, as men, we run from pain, we run from the hardships of our life, and we don't ever see them as that maybe holding on to that pain, maybe being floored by that pain, maybe having that pain be there to have you doubt everything that was within you doesn't necessarily mean that you need to have a rock solid identity of someone else's thought. It means that maybe you needed to be broken back down to rebuild your own thoughts. And man, we run from that. What I see is a lot of people in pain. And one of the ways you see that is a lot of confusion, a lot of blame, a lot of anger, a lot of doubt, a lot of not accepting responsibility. You know how you know people have been shaped by their pain in a way where they've ignored it? Because ultimately, we all are going to be shaped by our pain. But in a way where they ignored it, they pushed it down, is they never have peace. And they always have to fight. Man, I'll tell you this. Something we talk about a lot on the calls is how we fight, how we push for ourselves, how we are as men and all this sort of stuff. But there's also a peace that comes with that. There's also a beauty that comes with it. That pretty much everybody here has been screwed over by a woman. We've been floored by, we've been really, fucked up shit, but we go back to loving women. We realize that femininity is not something that is at war with us, but femininity is meant to be there to inspire our masculinity. We also realize that our masculinity, the more that we can show that to the world, is there to inspire femininity. And that expression, man, needs to be pure so that it can serve connection. And that socialization isn't about power and control, but about how somebody can be themselves so that we get it back. In any case, people, there's obviously a lot to this. And we're talking about a lot of stuff. And I know you may have walked into this podcast going, what the fuck are we talking about? And I saw the title and all this sort of shit. Is because, and I only represent a small part of what this is that we have had a dialogue, man, that has been really cool, that has shaped me, and it's given me an experience that I can walk away from. I can't put it in a box. I can't package it. I can't even put it on YouTube or iTunes or whatever, that this is being consumed in a way that you can experience that. I wish I could. But the important thing is that we need to, you as an individual, need to be experiencing these things yourself. And that's what's important. Man, it's such an important thing to be able to be yourself and have a conversation and connect with somebody, because that is the only way you're truly going to influence and shape. And I don't mean that by some social movement or some shit like that. I mean that you as a human being are going to touch somebody enough to have them feel something. And that's really the only real thing that we can give somebody. And if you're looking for a way to do that, free stuff link. Check that out. Down below, you can see it, you can find it, and get involved with our free stuff, which there's video courses on social dynamics, video courses on getting in shape, video courses on tons of stuff, PDFs that you can dive into. And if you want to step it up to something like Men's Development Excellence, which is where I tell everybody to start, you can find out how to do that there. In any case, I'm out of here. Watch all the stuff at the end of this video because it'll suggest a video to do and subscribe to and all that sort of shit. I'm out.